G'day YouTube, Warbles on a lot here with a little movie on the Crypto-Semantics series. This one's on Weasel-Words and emotionally manipulative phrases. Probably not my greatest calligraphy effort, but there you go. Weasel-Words and manipulative phrases are a verbal ammunition, a weapon store. It's a way in which people who know what they're doing, or sometimes behave this way subconsciously, habitually organise other individuals to agree with them, either to support them conversationally or to agree to do something which favours the person using the manipulative weasel words, or the weasel words in a manipulative phrase. First time I realised there was a bit of a science to this practice, I was about 12 or 13 and I was lent a copy of Dale Carnegie's book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Years later, when I had been a fairly successful salesperson, flogging helicopter joyride tickets for Australia's first woman with a commercial rotary wing licence, and I'd nearly been, well, there you go, I've just used one, I'd been using personal enthusiasm to sell the joyrides. But there was a thing called the avgas crisis in the late 1970s, and among other reasons we couldn't get enough fuel to fly the helicopter, so the joyriding business took a bit of a nosedive. And I went to the local employment agency and I saw a dream advertisement for a salesperson, and I was trained at the T&G Life Assurance Association, and they spent a week teaching me how to use manipulative language to cause people to buy into a bet they had to die to win. That was the essential product, was life insurance. There were other sorts of bets, you know, there was house roof insurance, where the idea was to get the customer to pay 6 times the financial risk of losing their roof to a thunderstorm. And the whole thing operated like that. It was a scientific use of either superior intelligence or rat-fox cunningness or rote learning of a prepared speech that's been written by a team of sales psychologists for the sales personnel to learn off by heart and just trot it out. And they gave us a briefcase full of them. Absolutely jam-packed, loaded with key manipulative word pushes. So, life went on. I had a failed marriage. I noticed that some of the stuff that my mother used to criticise my wife for doing, after I'd left the wife, my mother was doing the same things emotionally, linguistically. And when I paid attention, I found that she was not out there on her own, neither my wife or my mother. It was endemic throughout society that people who are at all good at networking, they fall into these conversational patterns pretty much without thinking. And I've been able to develop a flow chart so that if you pick these 2 key words from the 2 groups in succession in a sentence, you can be, as near as damn is to swearing, you can be sure that you are being manipulated emotionally to agree with a proposition that you otherwise would not agree with, or to take some action that you would not otherwise do. Okay? And here's the list of weasel words and the emotional phrases they go into, which I have identified. There's probably more out there, but this is one little nest of crypto-semantic linguistic interestingness which I'd like to share. Almost invariably, the manipulative phrase begins with the word well and a pause. Next, you're going to get I or we, really, only, simply, or just. And just is the operative one because it's short for justifiably. Simply, only, really, merely, which is the one I used earlier on. They are diminutive forms of saying justifiably. I justifiably. Believe, think, feel, want, need, recognise, require, or demand. Whatever proposition or proposal or assertion the victim is expected to assent to. Alright? I really believe, I only think, I simply feel, I just want, I really need, I only recognise, I simply require, I just demand. This is a key warning flag that you are being manipulated. If you hear these words, any combination of those two groups, you are being manipulated to do something in the interests of somebody else. Another variety at the nexus, dispensing with I really, only, simply, just, but don't you? Just believe, just think, only feel, simply want, just recognise. These are push phrases. But don't you really? I only, simply, just. Believe, think, feel, want, need, recognise, demand. Whatever proposition. There you go. Fore-warned is fore-armed. When somebody comes at you with a proposition formatted that way, you stick your fingers in your ears and you run away screaming. Because the very best that you can expect is that they think they are going to manipulate you into doing something for your own good by their standards, in their opinion. At worst, they want you to work your ass off or give them your resources for their benefit, or they want you to agree with bullshit so that they feel better about their bullshit. Weasel words and manipulative phrases. When you see them, back off. Try to wean yourself off them. If you're in the habit of saying, well, I just think, well, just tread on your own toe next time you say that. And as a reminder that, ouch, this is not a moral or an ethical way to think, let alone to speak. Warbles on a lot to the crypto-semantic linguisticians. Linguisticians? Yes, linguisticians. The crypto-semantic linguisticians of YouTube. Isn't that an interesting thing? Avoid them and the people who use them. I hope it helps for you in the way it's helping me. Ciao.